Hello there. I'm Tim Gettys. I'm here with Colin Moriarty.
Good to see
and
you.
Greg Miller.
I'm a hacker. You remember?
Oh, yeah, just keep hacking, Greg.
Remember Swordfish?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's a lot like Swordfish with that scene where Hugh Jackman gets laptop, they put the gun to his head, and then he's got a beautiful baby in his lap, because I should Now, we're fixing the Kind of Funny Gamescast.
Yeah, there's problems with episode 1.
It's only on Patreon. It's
only on Patreon.
Something went wrong with that,
issues.
so we're just making it because we love you, and we thank all the people who support us on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. We are jumping in and just making the video version early, good for $5.
And it's going to be, doesn't matter, Greg, because now we are on episode 2 of this show.
All that crap's behind us.
Oh, yeah, a lot of cool things are going to happen this week. I'm really happy that I have you guys here. I feel like this is a cool thing, because I got the coolest dudes in gaming. That's what I'm going to call you guys.
Thank you.
It's me and my cool dudes.
No one's ever called us that, Greg.
I think we're the coolest.
Yeah. So let's start right away. We don't even need to give them the whole rigmarole. They know this.
No.
The one piece of rigmarole I will give you is that for all the people asking, yes, the show will be on iTunes starting as of
It's
now.
already on now.
As of
It's
now,
already up,
yeah.
yeah.
It will be there on iTunes and SoundCloud and all those places. YouTube, obviously, broken up topic by topic. Full episode Friday. If you want to get it super early, patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Bandcamp, kindoffunny.bandcamp.com. Or if you want the Vimeo, vimeo.com/kindoffunny. Let's get straight into topic number 1.
Okay.
PlayStation Now. So, guys,
Yeah.
I've been super excited about this. Why? I love old games. I love old games a lot. I love my Crash Bandicooty, as you guys all know.
You love that Crash Bandicooty.
I was really upset that there's no PS Classics on PS4. This is very, very upsetting. People are like, oh, PlayStation Now. It's going to come, guys. And I was like, okay, that's a weird accent.
That is a weird accent. Where is he from?
I've been waiting for that, and we've been hearing about this stuff, and now we finally get some ideas of details. What do you guys think?
I think the biggest detail that was interesting was that they did confirm that PS1 and PS2 Classics will come to PS Now eventually. So when that happens, I don't know. But I think the subscription model shows that they're listening, because this is what people wanted out of PlayStation Now. They didn't want the kind of more a la carte, at least a lot of people didn't want the more a la carte kind of approach to it, where you rent games. I mean, I did a piece on IGN some time ago where I was comparing the rental prices and how ridiculous they were in terms of you can rent a game for a few hours. You can rent the game for a day, 7 days. It's like, just give people a subscription and give them like what they, as much as they want. Seems like they have some pretty good publishers on board, Namco Bandai and Sega, and obviously their first-party stuff, and others. So I think it's a nice start, but I don't think it's quite the revolution that we might have thought it was when
it first got announced. When it first got announced, it was a weird thing when they did it. We thought it was their answer to backwards compatibility, and that right from the get-go you'd be doing all this thing. They're like, well, it's not gonna be ready for PlayStation 4. And then they had the beta, and the prices are way too high, and it's putting out a bunch of weird games.
Super limited, too, yeah.
Super limited, weird games, high prices, and I feel like now it's all the thunder's gone with PlayStation
I agree.
now, right?
Yeah.
When they announced they bought Gaikai, it was super exciting and crazy, and what are they going to do with it? And now it's just like...
That was just a feature.
Who cares? Yeah,
which is kind of weird, because it seemed like a revolution. Yeah. And I hope that it eventually turns into that. Because the idea of being able to play... they made it sound like every game in PlayStation's history you'll be able to play...
Right.
From your TV if you have a DualShock 3, and it's just like, that sounds amazing. And what you're giving us right now is like, sounds cool.
Yeah, and it's still not even done, right? Like, it isn't Xperia tablets and all this other stuff yet. They're still getting there and getting there and getting there. And the only times I've ever used it, right, it's underwhelming. I haven't ever played it and been like, yep, this is nailing the experience. There's no latency or even minimal latency, right? Like playing, one of their beta things was Mutant Blob's Attack, right? A great game, and you play it and it's just like, ugh, ooh. Good. No, you know what I mean? Let alone trying to play Last of Us or something.
Yes, so CES is happening right now, and I was reading a bunch of impressions today, actually, and people are saying that it's almost there, but that's not good for this. I don't need almost there. They're saying that the graphics just look slightly off, and that's not good. I don't want that.
Yeah,
I want it needs to be, especially if I own these games already. There can't be a worse version of what I already have played before.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the major problem is that you're never going to be able to, with something just inherently technologically. Nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, right? So it's like this is literally a problem. Like if the servers are
this is the problem.
This is the problem.
If the servers are in a certain place and you need to ping a server, and then the data needs to be sent back to you from wherever the game's being served, wherever the processing is actually happening, because your PS4 or your Vita or whatever is just the mirror of what's happening on a remote server. The fact is that the latency cannot be removed completely. It's not possible.
Yeah.
So what I think would be really interesting, and I've talked to people about this from Beyond before, some people, engineers out there and stuff understand this better, but what seems to be the solution to this problem
like choo-choo engineers?
Yeah, like engineers, they're hanging out with their little hat and
they're listening to Beyond, they're emailing you like, wait a second, I don't think you understand latency or the speed of light, Colin.
is that it seems like that the solution has to be eventually that the processing needs to be done kind of on the unit that you're playing on as well, so that the game can be streamed ahead of time to your unit. So say you're like streaming BioShock, it would stream the area around you, or some sort of like some people, engineers are out there probably like tearing their hair out, but like some sort of algorithm or whatever where it tells you like the surrounding areas are loaded and you're basically playing the game on your unit and data is constantly being shuffled in so that there is no latency.
The idea would be like, if you're playing a single player game, bringing down in the same way like playing off the disk while it installs.
Right.
It's always a little bit ahead of you, right, getting you out.
Exactly. I think that's the solution, because I think the latency problem is an issue. I mean, because this could be revolutionary. I mean, Sony's finally starting to understand that they have to kind of creep out of their ecosystem. This will obviously be on phone, like Xperia and Sony phones and stuff like that, in addition to Vita and PS4. Yeah. But they're going to go to non-Sony devices, and that's the really interesting thing too. And one of the things they confirmed was the cloud, obviously, and rightfully so, I think, and logically, is going to save your save, and you can cross-save like you do between PS4 and Vita, but between any of these units. And I think that's really exciting. It's just, it has to work, and I think that they lost a lot of their thunder by this taking so long. Mm-hmm. Then again, it's nice that they did take this long to make sure that the kinks are ironed out and stuff like that. But Gaikai has not been this revolutionary thing that I think we all thought it was going to be. I think people were really, the same thing with Morpheus, although we haven't seen how Morpheus has evolved yet, where Sony's kind of reaching out and being like, what are these futuristic kind of techs that we can invest in?
My question for you is this, Colin. Do you think that the fact that PlayStation Now isn't a bigger deal is the fact that Sony is just dealing with the current landscape, right? It seemed like a big deal when they announced it. It was a cool thing to have in your February presentation, but much like the move in the light, right, they've backed away from it. If you remember a couple E3s ago, we talked about the dips, right? In one of the very, very long stretches before Last of Us, they came out and talked about PlayStation Mobile. And they were like, this is what we're doing. We're getting our games on these devices. And I said definitively, I'm like, that was the most important announcement of that conference, because it showed Sony future-proofing, saying, we're going to be on everything. We're going to do this. And they closed down Sony Mobile in the last year, PlayStation Mobile. It's almost like they did this, and then the PlayStation 4 sells gangbusters. Everyone says they want consoles. The consoles aren't going anywhere. And it's like, oh,
we're good.
Well, pull it back. You know what I mean? Because it feels like, much like bundling the camera with the PlayStation 4 would have then benefited having the light bar, having PlayStation Now and Gaikai ready to go when you launched the system and had no real, not no games, but not as many, you know what I mean? That would have been the time to get hooks in everybody, have them go. And now
it was kind of like the Wii when it first launched, like just when it launched with actual virtual console games, like I feel like a lot of people were more into that.
I bought so much stuff I
never
played.
You play Wii Sports for like 10 minutes and then you're like, oh cool, Mario 1 again.
Right. Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
I think they have just big problems to overcome that are practical problems, that are understandable problems, the technological limitations of streaming and cloud services, the legalities and litigiousness of getting publishers on board. I mean, some of the games that people have to understand that, like, it would be nice to get Crash Bandicoot, and Crash Bandicoot's available, but Sony didn't publish Crash Bandicoot. Yeah. You know what I mean? Technically a defunct publisher released Crash Bandicoot.
So let it go, Tim.
And Activision, I guess, now owns those old, those Universal games or whatever. But there's just a lot. These are the same issues they ran into with PlayStation All-Stars, where it's like, well, we aren't Square. We can't force them to let us have cloud in PlayStation All-Stars. I don't know what you want us to do. And it's the same thing. Yeah. When I saw the list of publishers that they were talking about, it seemed to me to be a fine list of publishers: Namco, Bandai Namco now, and Sega, and some others, but not. They didn't have like big Activision wasn't on there, or Ubisoft or anything like that, because everyone's kind of, I think, planning on going in their own direction anyway. Yeah. EA's already shown that they're going to do that, so with their own EA, pay, kind of a la carte service. So. PS Now is exciting. I think they lost their window. I think the interconnectivity is probably the most exciting thing about it, but there's technical limitations.
Yeah, exactly. And so our good friend Marty Sleva was saying that the
best beard in the business.
At CES, he played BioShock Infinite on the streaming on the PS4 and on a TV, and he said that there was a difference between the two.
Really?
Yeah. And he said that it's almost there. Is pretty much it. And he's like, it's crazy though that you can play with the PS4 controller, and that you can use the touchpad as start and select, the right and left sides.
Oh, nice.
Which to me, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that. Such a little thing, but it's like, I don't like the option and share button. And
it's
stuff,
one of those. If they can get the tech there, it is super cool. You've seen those images of the DualShock 4 with the Xperia phone mounted to it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that's really awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Go to the DMV and bring that and just stream whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, totally.
I love the DMV.
Who did?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Yeah. But that would seem like when you can get it there and it's a no-brainer and it's awesome, great. But I feel like it's getting to be that story we've heard enough about this. Just, okay. Is it great yet? No, then I don't want to hear about it. I don't want another
You should
preview
just call
of
it PlayStation later, let's be real.
Yeah. The subscription's a cool thing. The subscription, I don't know how to pronounce it like that.
That's really exciting to me, though, like, because I didn't expect them to go that Netflix route. Like, I wanted them to. I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome if you can just pay a certain amount of money per month and be able to play whatever you want.
Yeah.
That sounds too good to be true, especially when they talked about all these renting and, like, all this stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, you're going that direction. That's more iTunes.
Yeah.
Which is cool for some people, not for me. But the Netflix thing is like, oh, that's really awesome. But then, licensing, when you take that into consideration, it kind of changes everything. Like, when you look at
This changes everything.
when you look at the Virtual Console on Nintendo, it's one of those things where it's like, you need to wait years for the games that you want to come out for the system. And then sometimes they just won't. Like, how long did it take Earthbound to come out? It's like, seriously, guys?
And that was just weird.
I gotta play Earthbound.
Like, all that type of stuff is just so weird to me. And like, and then the Wii U, that's a whole other story. But it's like, there's certain Mario games that just still aren't on it. And they're like, why? Like, I know you have the license for that.
To pepper them out, to keep you ready.
But it's like
you're always hunting for those breadcrumbs. You're a duck.
But if they gave me little ducky crumbs, like, every week, I'd be okay with that. But it's just like, when the hell's Mario Kart 64 coming out?
I remember that. When I originally bought my Wii, that was a big deal for me. It was going to IGN and checking what was coming to the Virtual Console. Because they would do the updates. Cass Messina and Bozon would do those updates. And I was like, yeah, what is coming this week? Oh my god, is it going to be this?
They'd always have something new to it and then just stopped.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it just stopped.
But it had
even
to.
then, though, like, while things, it had to stop?
It had to, because eventually they reached the critical limit of, or the limit of what they were going to get out of the publishers and themselves, out of the library. Eventually, like, I'm sure that they had all of these easy gets, their own games, and the publishers they were working closely with.
But that's the thing, like, there's so many of their own games they just didn't release.
I'm sure that there are reasons, like...
And that's the thing, that's what's interesting to me. I'd like to know those reasons.
What are these goddamn reasons?
Yeah, because it doesn't, to me, it's not clear. Like, I'm like, why can you not post
Mario
World?
Mega Man 6 is a great example. Mega Man 6 was published by Capcom in Japan, and Capcom didn't want to bring it to the United States because it was released so late. It was released in 1994, so that was 2.5 years after SNES came out. Nintendo published that here, and that was one of the red labeled Nintendo games, one of the very few of them, like Wario's Woods and Yoshi's Cookie and stuff. Like very late Nintendo games that Nintendo put out along with the, it was actually after the top loader. Mega Man 5 was actually more close to the top loader's release. And I think that there's some complications about, like, well, we publish this game in the United States and you publish it in Japan, and so like, how do we get that on the Virtual Console, and how do you get those to marry each other, and how do you split the money? I think that there's like a lot of super weird issues that you have to deal with that kind of stuff. The same thing with Earthbound. There must have been, was a reason why. Wasn't there a reason, like a specific reason why Earthbound was?
That I know of.
I gotta look into that. I thought that it is what it is. I thought that
We're
there
an
was
informational podcast. God damn it, I'm checking.
I thought that there was something about that game that was. I know people really wanted it. I could be wrong, and obviously people wanted the other games and stuff. But I thought that there was a reason that.
Yeah.
Like why?
I not that I know of, but. There's something about the idea of not getting everything at once that's cool. Like that's fine. Like if they had just literally everything, that'd be great.
Delayed gratification.
But yeah, it's like seeing those articles that go up about what's new on Netflix. That's exciting. You guys talk about it on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, the Colin and Greg Live, every morning. And when every month these are being taken off Netflix, these are being added to Netflix. There's something exciting about that, and it makes you be like, oh shit, I should watch this. The same thing used to be true for the Wii's Virtual Console, where it's like, oh man, like Donkey Kong Country's coming, I get to play that again, that's awesome. Right. Even though I'd have no interest in playing it otherwise. And I feel like the PlayStation Now has this opportunity to bring that back again. So that's kind of exciting. But another big issue I have is like going back to Crash Bandicoot, and I've said this a million times, like why is it not on Vita? And like, is that some licensing thing? Like how come it's on PSP and PS3, but it's not available on Vita?
I don't know. I thought that they tried to fix most of the PS1 classics to work on Vita. There could be a technical reason or a legal reason. Again,
they work because there was like a week.
Right?
There was it did work for a little while. And then there was like a week where it just totally worked, and then they took it away.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's got to be a legal reason. I mean, like it's just this is why that shit's so boring too. Like it's interesting to us, but like it's like I'm sure there's just these ridiculous reasons why it won't work or they don't want to do it. I don't know.
From thegamesradar.com. So why has Earthbound been neglected all these years? Most evidence points to potential legal complications stemming from certain songs in the game bearing resemblance to real-life pop.
Yeah, isn't there like a Michael Jackson song in there?
Oh, on Earthbound. Isn't that Sonic 3?
No, it doesn't say anything about Michael Jackson. I mean, it's possible. But there's nowhere on the internet I can tell you that. Portillo, you're going to get your face smashed? Portillo,
you guys hear about that? Remember that Sonic 3 Michael Jackson thing? Where it was rumored that Michael Jackson produced all the music for Sonic 3.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long-standing thing, and if you listen to like certain shit, it's like,
Maybe.
you're onto something. But yeah, I think it's been debunked like years later. But
did you ever hear that
sounded pretty legit.
JT produced Toe Jam and Earl?
I
Not
haven't.
the music, the game.
Oh, the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Doesn't
did
sound
hear
right.
that. That sounds
You
like
did know that.
sounds like
Oh.
a true fact.
It's
If
on the
I
internet, probably.
ever heard one.
Update JT's Wikipedia page, everybody.
Yes. All right. So, streaming games. We good with that?
Could be cool, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's back to what was the other one that went on live, right? Remember when On Live came out and they were trying to do all this shit, and it was like, all right, cool, and it
Yeah,
just
but we all
never-
knew that was dumb because who the fuck are they? Like that's the thing is it's like this is PlayStation. You know what I
Right.
mean? When PlayStation comes out and they're all like giving us all these like talks and stuff, and they're just like every PlayStation game you can play it on your TV and all that stuff. I'm like, I believe you because you're PlayStation.
Yeah, the Vita and the PSP and the.
But that's the thing though. It's like I don't know.
Remember that
different.
Sony did get sued for misleading people, I think, with Vita, right? Where it was
Oh, right,
they,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they made it
the
seem,
remote
they
play,
made it
you
seem like
could-
you
you
can
could
remote
do
play
anything, you
anything,
put
whatever.
anything
So I
on
mean,
the
it's not out of this world. I think that people misinterpreted some of these finely tuned
I'm just saying,
legal
don't
words.
believe everything you hear at a press conference.
Yeah. No, and I get that. It's just
Unless Shoe's
it's
talking.
exciting though. Yeah.
This man doesn't lie.
He doesn't lie.
No.
Never. Never. I mean, what games would you guys want to play the most on this?
On streaming?
Yeah.
From PlayStation.
Yeah, any of the PlayStation.
I mean, I always stand by old game is old. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now that we're doing this, we quit our jobs, we're streaming all these games. I'm getting the chance to go back and play stuff, right? I keep running through like Super Metroid and Earthbound, and all these different games pop up that I'm like, yeah, I do need to play that. But that stuff I missed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always hard for me to be like, what I want to play on PS2 or PS1 again, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like I had a great education on the systems, but I also don't feel like going back because things have been transitioned in. I know my history, so do I
Yeah.
really need to go back and experience?
See, there's a lot of PS2 games that I would love to go back and play, and a lot of them are kind of weird and obscure.
Kind of weird. That's our other channel.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a big problem is I'm never going to get those again because so many of like that generation was like the licensed music generation. Where it
Oh,
was, like,
right. Yeah.
the discs were finally big enough to have like these giant soundtracks, so they just got everybody. So it's like the Tony Hawk games are never gonna, pop up again. Like any of the extreme sports games,
And it'll
Aggressive
never
Inline.
fit. Like when you played Crazy Taxi and they removed the Offspring, you're like, what
It's
is
like, this isn't the game,
This
you
isn't
know?
Yeah, it was
yeah.
weird. It was weird. I mean, you'll get some sort of heavily edited version of those games.
Yeah, playing Tony Hawk without hearing Superman is just like, no, this isn't Tony Hawk to me.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then there's a bunch of other games like Downhill Domination. You guys remember that?
No.
I do remember
it
that
was
game,
good.
but yeah, I
It
don't
was
know.
really
That's
good.
the
I
one
love
that you want to
skateboarding,
play.
snowboarding.
No, it was a downhill
Luge?
biking, downhill BMX game.
Gotcha.
And it was so much fun. And like NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh, NBA Street, yeah.
The PS2 had just so many of these games that everybody played that like I would never play now. But for some reason at the time it just made so much sense. And
Well,
I'm
you
never
were a
gonna get
kid
them
and you had
again.
these like party games, right? Like, I mean, like not party, but like Mario Party, but like, you get together with your friends and me and Poe would play, NBA Street all the time. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, and that's something to do, something to play, face off and do things to
Yeah.
with and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Remember, I was talking about the movies. You go to movies as a high school, you also play 2-player games.
Yep, that's true.
Now I can't pay Colin to fucking play games with me.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
And then there's games like Time Splitters that I don't.
Oh my
that's
God,
something
yeah.
that's like I don't know the legal reasons why. It's probably just because
Some of these games don't
who
stand
owns
up
what and
anymore
all that
either
stuff.
as well.
Time Splitters is awesome. I'm pretty sure Time Splitters stands up.
Yeah, you're pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Time Splitters 2 and 3.
Man, Time Splitters 2 was such a big deal.
Yeah, I love
Remember
it. It was
Yeah,
so
I
good.
do remember. Shooters have come a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is definitely that was the I would credit Time Splitters with the bridging the gap between GoldenEye and Halo. And I think that those are the two things because we went from GoldenEye and Time Splitters feels very GoldenEye multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's very arcadey, but it's not like PC Unreal Tournament type Twitch stuff. It's just more fun multiplayer based couch play game, right?
Yeah.
And then Halo was the one that revolutionized dual stick shooters, Whereas Time Splitters was kind of one of the first dual stick shooters to really
Get it.
create that system
Yeah.
of play. Right? I mean, am I wrong about that?
No, I agree. I mean, I think that late PS1 and early PS2 era was a time of wild proliferation for shooters. I mean, I always think about Medal of Honor as really being the first on PS1 as being like the first shooter I played where I was like, wow, this is gonna be a thing.
Was that
on
a dual
console.
stick?
No, I don't think it. No, it might have been. I don't remember.
I'm probably wrong about this, but I don't remember playing any PS1 dual stick shooters.
PS1. Oh.
I guarantee there was, but
First person or just?
There
person.
must have
yeah,
been.
yeah, there must have been. But like to me,
Yeah, I don't
my
remember
first
if
real
Metal
memory
was
of having to
DualShock
learn
or
those
DualStick.
controls was Time Splitters.
Yeah, I don't
PS2
remember what taught me how to
Yes.
how to use DualShock or
just shortly
Dual
thereafter.
around launch.
It was launch window.
Yeah.
As they say.
I don't remember what taught me how to use dual analog sticks. I always tell people that like the barrier to entry today is dual analog sticks on controllers. Like people that pick them, you just have
That
to
seems
you just
so
have to,
crazy.
you just
I
have
mean,
to learn
because it's
them.
so natural to us now, but to think of
Controlling the
something like
camera is
that-
a very different kind of thing than controlling a
Yeah,
character.
because you're all screwed up. You got to be all inverted.
Yep.
Well, see, that's
Want
my
to look
thing.
down? Better hit up. What?
Going back to it, like I was inverted because of GoldenEye and Star Fox. I was so used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
flight stick.
transitioning over into Time Splitters, I'm pretty sure the default was inverted because there was kind of lifting off of that. And then going to Halo where the default is what's now standard, that was so hard for me to
Yeah.
wrap my brain around. And one day it just clicked. And now I can't go back. That's just crazy. But it did happen. All right. So, next up.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5. Heists are coming. Now here's the thing.
The final horse crosses the finish line.
How many times have we seen that headline?
Yeah,
like
they're
I
coming? A
swear
lot.
to God. So back at IGN, I would be on the daily. I would like help produce the Daily Fix.
Let him host.
And yes, let him host. And I swear that was our story. Like the amount of times it was like, hey, can we make a thumbnail that says GTA heists are coming?
Yeah.
Maybe like twice a month.
Right.
And it's just like they're finally actually coming. There's details. We're getting. They said there's a couple of them coming at launch, and there's different types of heists coming.
At launch is what you just said.
Well, that's what they're saying. Like they're describing it as GTA Online launch. And
Relaunch,
when I read that, I was like,
Wait a sec.
that's a weird word to use, but
Yeah.
yeah. So my question to you guys is this okay? Is this a bad thing, or is this a great thing that a game that's a year old is
More than, yeah.
Yeah, over a year old, getting this substantial update that we thought we were getting earlier, but we're never promised earlier, as far as I know.
They were upfront that it's not ready, and we're working on it, is what they always said. My answer, not being a member of the GTA Online community, really, I played it the first week it was out and was totally screwed up, and I never touched it again, is like, I think it's a good idea. Like, it gets me re-interested to do it. Now, granted, we have an audience of, I don't know how many thousands of people now you want to count it as that have been saying, we'd love to play this with you. It's 30 players. We should do it. That works for me. That works for me a lot. But
Get it in there.
we're talking like monkeys. Like we're talking like Cheetos talks.
That's how he talks?
Yeah.
Okay,
He talks
cool.
too, guys.
Yeah.
My
I don't understand why you want Cheetos.
My Cheetos impression is the monkey impression that Ed does in Shaun of the Dead. So that was a walk to get you.
I
He
like
does a
that.
really good one.
Yeah,
he has
he
an
does,
empty
he
cup.
does.
Anyways, it's a good thing. It gets people re-interested in it. I have GTA on PS4. I haven't touched it. I played the hell out of GTA PS3.
Yeah.
This is a reason to put it in. This is a reason to do it. The thing about it is, like, we know people who are super into the GTA Online community. Like Fredo was super into it, and I never heard. And you talk to Fredo more than I do because I just get distracted by that body. I never heard people really bitching that heists weren't there. It seems like they were happy with the suite they did have. It found its niche for sure. People were crazy about it.
So from my understanding from talking to Alfredo is that it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of great stuff, but it was always, but we want the heists. Like, this is what we want. We're just doing this to tide ourselves over for this. And then it just reached a point where they're like, okay, I guess
Destiny,
it's not
see you
happening.
later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they moved off. Like, I don't think Alfredo's played GTA since then.
Do you think he'll come back for this?
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guarantee he'll get in there and he'll have his
Go to
squad.
twitch.tv/AlfredoPlays. Watch him do it.
And they'll definitely be doing that stuff. And I mean, Alfredo's one of those guys that like wanted to get as high level as possible and like make sure he had everything he could in that game.
Yeah.
And he was so stoked for these things. But yeah, it's a year later now, and it's like, all right, well, everyone's moved on. They're now playing there's been like 4 games in between. There was Titanfall, there was Destiny, there's all this other stuff. So yeah, I'm sure he's going to get back into it. And I guess that's a good thing. It's like, and especially because it's free.
Right.
Like, that's the other thing, is it's not like, if they were like charging for all this and stuff, it'd be like, oh.
This is always, the only shady, not even shady, I don't mean to put it in a bad light. The only weird thing is the fact that it did seem like when it launched on PS3 and it wasn't there, it seemed like it was only a few months away.
Like a month away.
Yeah, and the fact that it's now a year and change later, it's finally here, that's the one thing where you're like, really? But that's the catch with multiplayer online games, right? Is that you have to keep your audience in this day and age holding onto the copy and not going to GameStop and trading it back in.
Yes.
So I mean, if I hope I haven't followed it closely on how well they were communicating what their timetable was.
Mm-hmm.
But if that you're like, well, one day it's gonna have Heists, so I'll put it on the shelf. I understand, and especially to bring people back, especially right now when there's a little bit of a lull, right? Like if we were gonna stop everything right now and go play games, I'd go play Destiny, right? Or like now Super Metroid or something old, right? Mm-hmm. So to bring something and make it new again, sure. A game you already have, a game that will be free technically.
Yeah.
I like how you go Destiny and Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Old.
It's they're pretty much I think came out at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Shigeru Miyamoto made both of them.
About 20 years apart, but yeah.
Super Metroid, is that new?
Yeah, 94.
Oh, I thought that was the recent one.
Oh, you're a tired young man, aren't you? I think it's interesting because I think Rockstar is one of the few developers, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the few games that can get away with this simply because they're really good at what they do. They clearly knew they could take their time. That game sold meteoric numbers. We were talking about big games people moved on to, like Titanfall and Destiny and stuff. This game sold more than all those games combined. So it's like the game's there. It's out there. They have the luxury to wait. People are going to play it when it comes out. People might even rebuy the game when it comes out. We have to think about the internal resources at Rockstar North and the other Rockstar satellite studios and like what they're doing right now because they obviously had to port the game over, which I'm sure was the plan from the beginning. They tweaked it and used new resolutions and all those textures and all those kinds of things. I mean, it was not like just a simple port job. It seemed like so. This seems like this talk of a certain amount of people. Certainly, the Rockstar studios are working together on Red Dead 2, which seems like is a real thing. So like, who knows what resources and what facilities are being used for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then the Heists were like left behind for probably another team. It's not like everyone at Rockstar is like working on this one thing. It's a huge group of studios, and they are busy. So
how bloodthirsty are you for Red Dead 2?
Oh, I can't. I love Red Dead. I actually think Red Dead's extraordinary. But I was also disappointed with Grand Theft Auto 5. So like I don't, and I love GTA 4. So it's not.
What disappointed you about it?
I think I just don't want to play these games anymore. I think that I got back from TGS a couple years ago, so 2 times ago, and.
I had to bring home your copy from work.
Yeah, I ordered it. I bought it, and I was like, I can't wait to get home and play this game. I'm so excited to play Grand Theft Auto. And I got home and I played it for like 5, 6, 7 hours. I'm like, I don't really want to play this.
Yeah.
It's the same way I felt about Watch Dogs when I played it and a few other games where I'm like, I just really don't want to play this game. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't about, I just like, I don't want to do this. And that was weird because I've beaten since 3, I guess, 3 Vice City, San Andreas, and 4, and then Ballad of Gay Tony, and Lost in the Damned. I loved all of that stuff. And so... And the Stories games on PSP, I loved those games. And so it was weird that it didn't resonate with me. But Rockstar makes good games, and I believe in quality. I really do believe that. So I think that it wasn't ready, and it was ready when it was ready. And I think they knew they had the luxury. Let's not forget, these guys made $500 million in one day on GTA 5. It's like if they need to like pay their staff to work another year on this, they're going to certainly be able to do that. But it's a unique situation. A normal game from a normal studio, even a AAA big studio and a big publisher could not do this. Would not get away with it. But with this game, with the proliferation of this game, with the pedigree of this studio and this series, I think that they were able to do it. I think that's like literally a 1 in 100 kind of thing. I think if I don't know, if Titanfall, the original Titanfall, if they a year later, so in April, we're like, oh, we're releasing a bunch of huge new DLC. I really don't think that that's going to resonate much with people. People stopped playing Titanfall literally weeks after it came out. So it's not like there's still a small community there of people that play it.
But like even the top people stopped. Like again, Alfredo, going back to him, like he was the Titanfall community. Like,
literally, he won tournaments all the time.
Exactly. Like
his PC is built on
his team and like all like the teams that they played against. Like that was the community.
Yeah.
And like it kind of went down. Titanfall 2, I'd be really interested to see what that does. I'm feeling
the thing about Titanfall.
It'll be on PS4 and Xbox One.
The thing about Titanfall that's fascinating is the DLC packs have been really cool. Well, they've added really cool stuff to it. And right before I went away for, I guess, what was the last thing we did? PlayStation Experience, maybe.
Yeah.
I did a Let's Play with Fredo because we did a lot when we were leading into Titanfall because I was so excited. And it was finally a horde mode where I'm playing with other people fighting things. They had new modes, they had new things, and it was like, oh wow! I was like, this is rad. I'd love to come back and play this again. But then again, there's just so much going on that there isn't that hook. You know what I mean? Everyone's in Destiny now. I want to go be in Destiny with people.
And I think Destiny's doing a really good job of like putting out the new raids and like making events out of them.
And they've communicated it. That's the thing about Destiny, right?
Yeah.
They came out from day one, even before that. They're like, you're gonna have these expansion packs coming. Here's the timetable for them. It's not like this where it's like, oh, the Crota raid is coming. Don't worry, it's coming. Dark Below's coming. You know what I mean? Like, no. It's like it's not like Heists. It's like here it is.
Exactly. I think a big difference with Heist. I mean, actually, there's some similarities there too. Is that in GTA, Like a lot of people really, really, really liked that game.
Yeah.
But their favorite parts were the heists.
Right.
Like I feel like everyone's favorite part of that game was the heists. And so the fact that we're just getting more of people's favorite part of the game is huge. And I feel like that's why they also can kind of just draw it out a little bit, just because it's like, hey, you're just getting more of your favorite thing of this game.
Yeah.
And I guess with Destiny, like the raids are like everyone's favorite part too. So
I'm not high level yet to do them.
but for the people that are dedicated and in that community, they're looking forward to it. So when there is more raids, they're super excited about it. They're looking forward to it, and they're just going to keep doing them.
Yeah.
Like Alfredo's played this Crota raid like 10 million times.
I know, he tries to do his time better.
Yeah, he's doing like world records and all that stuff. That's awesome. But I mean, that's the hardcore people that it's for.
Yeah.
GTA is in a slightly different situation where it's way more mainstream. Like, everybody bought that game.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many people are going to download these heists, play through the heists and stuff. I'm sure a lot will.
Here's a way of looking at it. If 1% of the people that own Grand Theft Auto downloaded Heists, that's 350 or 400,000 people, right?
Yeah.
So
Those
that's
are kind of funny Patreon numbers.
so like that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's more than most games sell. You know, like
Yeah.
so like there are thriving online communities on shooters that sell to 500,000 units. You know, like so it's not like, you know, and many more people are going to download them. And millions of people are going to download Heists. And I think they know that. And then there's, I'm sure, going to be microtransactions, all sorts of shit that you can spend money in. You know, I'm sure Rockstar is a very shrewd company. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this is just the perfect storm for them. This is not something anyone else can get away with. And I'm not sure they can even get away with it in another game. You know, like, I don't even think like Red Dead has the cachet to like be like, oh, we're coming back with a big meaty chunk 18 months later or whatever.
Yeah, Red Dead had online. People forget that all the time. There was online, and like you'd ride around and fight things and, you know, hang out with your friends, but it wasn't like, you know, if they put a giant patch out for Red Dead, nobody would care.
But the major difference too, because you guys were talking about Titanfall and how that game resonated with people quickly, but then was forgotten really, is because it's not only because it was only on one console, because I don't believe that that's the case. I mean, that game sold well, and it was also on 360, and it was also on PC. It's that they should have held, you know, EA maybe didn't have the luxury to hold the game longer and let them do something with it. It was an empty game, you know, for a lot of people, and Grand Theft Auto is not an empty game. So there's not like people aren't like up in arms being like, where's the Grand Theft Auto I wanted? Like, the Grand Theft Auto you wanted is the 50-hour storyline.
Right.
You know, like
what you got.
This is like all ancillary stuff. So again, a perfect storm. It's the right situation for the right company with the right game and the right franchise at the right time.
Exactly. And I think GTA is such the right franchise for that, because Titanfall is a shooter at the end of the day. GTA, what is it? It's whatever the hell. It's a racing game. It's a shooting game.
A drug simulator.
Exactly. It's all of these different things. Like the fact that they've still consistently been able to put out these new patches and updates, even without the heists. Things are so interesting. Like whenever we see like people doing Let's Plays and stuff, and like even recently with the PS4 update.
Yeah.
First person mode changes the game.
Right.
It's just like, what?
Yeah.
They actually like did that, and it's just insane. It makes it feel so different. And like all the new drugs and stuff they added, and like you can play as a bird.
The new drugs.
Yeah.
The peyote missions.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
Would you guys want, like, I know it's not likely and no other developer could do it, but would you want other developers to be able to do this? Taking your favorite parts of games, giving you more of it the following year, knowing that like that's going to compete against new games that you want to play.
I mean, yeah, it's what we always talk about, right? We wish more games would move to being a platform and then getting giant content updates and doing different things. But there is a problem with making it all work when there's so much going on. I keep talking about, you know, now that we have this, I really want to stream and do a Let's Play of me finally playing Batman Arkham Origins Mr. Freeze DLC, which I pre-ordered and installed on day one. And I was so excited to play it, but something happened, and then something happened, and then before I knew it, I was like, oh my god, that's on there. I forgot about that. You know what I mean? Like that. There's always something newer, and the grass is always greener on that other game you don't know anything about. Because when you do jump into a game that you already own, then there's the learning curve of getting back into it and what's happening. Destiny or an MMO, right, where you're playing consistently forever, like that's different because you know the mechanics. Unless you take a giant break like I did with Destiny or DC Universe Online and then try to come back, then there's that barrier to entry, which is what I face right now with DC Universe Online. Kids keep asking me to stream it, and I'm like, I'm so far behind on the armor treadmill that it's gonna be hard to get a group together to go do these missions I need to get this piece to go get that, and then my exo bits. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of work. And Destiny's like closer. I can do that. I don't know.
What were you calling?
I just think the consumer-friendly angle, as we've said, is the game is platform for games like this.
Yeah.
I think that a game like Fallout 4, whenever that's announced, is a game, and it's gonna be a game, and it is what it is. It's got its DLC packs, it's Fort Pitt and all that kind of shit. Just like Fallout 3 guy, that's totally fine. I think Gran Turismo is always the example I use of a game that should be a platform. The next Gran Turismo game should be called Gran Turismo. It should be free, and it should be a PS4 game that you download as an app, and then just deal with it as you want. You want cars, you want
deal with it.
You want cars, you want, deal with it at your leisure. Like, you want some more cars, okay. You want some more tracks, okay. It's $1 here, $5 there, blah, blah. I think it's the most consumer-friendly way, actually, because it gives you what you want out of the game, and it doesn't make you buy, like, a new iteration of every time. This is why I get frustrated with EA Sports games and stuff like that, especially when they regress, like NHL did this year, which was insane to me. As someone who plays those games every year, I'm like, this
away modes.
Yeah, the NHL, like, they took a year off on next gen stuff. They released the NHL first PS4 NHL game in September, and it was like missing everything, like almost everything, And I was like, the game itself was fun to play, but what about the content around it that's going to keep me engaged in it? That's why NHL should just be a platform,
Yeah.
I'll download, I'll pay. People would gladly pay $4.99 a month to just get their roster updates. And play for this gameplay tweak or this tournament or whatever you want to do. It's just like a more consumer-friendly thing. But again, publishers aren't going to be making money doing this. So, or at least not the money they're used to being. Making. These series have to create before they do anything like that. It's the same thing with Call of Duty. Like, Activision has this suite of really talented developers that could just be making maps and storylines and all these kinds of things on a singular platform, and doesn't force people to. How frustrating was it for someone like Alfredo, probably, who or someone like him that plays Call of Duty, and then they're really good at Ghosts, and then the next year they have to be really good at Modern Warfare or Advanced Warfare, and the next year they're gonna have to be really good at Advanced Warfare 2, and then Black Ops 3, and then it's like, why not just Call of Duty?
Well, now see here, the problem with that though is you have to make sure that everybody on a competitive level that everyone has access to the new maps, because the second that you have like a paid map that not everybody gets, that's not a competitive map anymore, because no one's gonna play it because not everyone can play it. And Alfredo's talked to me many times about this, where it's just like he's not as good at those maps because he never plays them. Like whenever new maps come, he's like, okay, cool, I'll try it for a little bit, but they're not in matchmaking because most people don't have access to it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
So like the platform idea really does work for certain types of franchises, certain types of games. So like MMOs, yes. But for shooters, I don't know. Like from the competitive angle, at least, I don't know if that's necessarily the right way.
Is that the biggest thing driving people forward is the competitive angle? I mean, are you talking about competitive gaming, or are you talking about people who are competitive with each other? Like, I want to play at the very best.
There's a big difference between esports and just competitive.
Okay, so making sure to be clear.
Yeah, and I think it's true for both though. Like, Alfredo definitely straddles the line. Like, he's not a pro player, but he can compete with pros.
Gotcha.
And the thing is, there's a huge audience of people that are just competitive in multiplayer that play like the pros. So they'll use their settings and use their maps. The same thing's true with Smash Bros, where it's like, there's rules for competitive Smash Bros. And like certain maps are legal, certain maps aren't.
Yeah.
And even though we're not pros, we still kind of play by those rules just because it's like, oh, well, that's the real game, And I feel like first-person shooters also have that.
Gotcha, makes sense.
That set of standards, So the platform idea is just interesting for shooters specifically.
Yeah, someone will either have to figure it out or not.
I think racers make sense. Like Gran Turismo, exactly. Mario Kart. Like, I think Nintendo's doing great with their DLC, with how they're doing the thing. I hate that there's only 2 packs. Hopefully they announce more.
Yeah.
I don't think they will. They'll just do Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
And Smash Bros, I'm super excited to see what they do with that. Because
I wanna see
Smash
the
Bros is
characters.
like a weird thing where it's like, it's not seen as a real fighting game. It's not like Street Fighter. It's more of a party thing.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people in the fighting game community don't really take it seriously, which is fine. I mean,
it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's played competitively for money, so there is something there, right?
and I certainly have a lot more fun with it than I do with the regular fighting game. Although, what the hell do I really know about that genre? Very little.
But they announced that Mewtwo's going to be DLC, but like, what does that mean? Like, is it going to be an actual pack? Or are we getting more stages and more characters and like balance updates and all this stuff? Because
I hope it's all amiibo features.
Yeah, that would be great. But I really do hope that we see Smash, like, because with Mario Kart came out last year. 6 months later, we got DLC Pack 1.
Yeah.
DLC Pack 2 is another 6 months from now, and like, that's cool that it keeps it going. It kind of sucks that it's that long. This is kind of the opposite thing of the GTA thing, where it's like that will be a year later, but it's not free. So it's like, well,
Yeah, Mario Kart's an interesting example because I don't think they need to do the GTA thing. No one's gonna, not no one, but most people aren't gonna sell back Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Like I
true,
have the
yeah.
Wii U for Mario Kart and for Smash Brothers and for Zelda and et
Yeah,
cetera,
yeah,
so on.
yeah.
But like Mario Kart, I'm always gonna want to hold on to because there'll be a day when I have a bunch of people over like, let's play something. Oh wait, Mario Kart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Street Fighter is another thing that would be interesting because I mean that's a game that they really re-released. You know what I mean? Like it's just insane. I think that as a platform could make a little sense. But then again, there's the competitive angle there too, where it's like the patches would have to be. You almost have to pay a subscription service for that's how Call of Duty could work if it was a subscription thing.
Yeah.
Where you have to constantly pay, and you don't need to pay per map. You get everything for this much money.
Yeah,
And same
yeah,
with
$10 a month
Street
or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think that's where a lot of things are going to go. I think that's a viable but dangerous model, as we see in the MMO market.
Yeah.
It works really well for some and not so well for others. So, yeah, I think it'll evolve to that point. I think people's money and time and patience is finite with some of this shit. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think that people have to, publishers. It's not the developers. It's the publishers that really need to figure out how we tackle this problem in the future.
Yeah, and how people want to.
How the market
get games.
demands.
There you go.
Yep. The thing is, the market still demands Call of Duty every year. So
Yeah.
although it's starting to plateau. So
Speaking of demands of the market,
Tim Way.
there was a lot of demands for Majora's Mask to come through.
oh, the best Zelda game.
Yes. I don't know about the best Zelda game.
Oh, it is.
I enjoy it a lot.
It's my favorite Zelda game by
Second
a mile.
best.
Like
Second best.
I liked its use of the color purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that. I remember there was a Nintendo Power issue, and I was like, "Whoa,
The cover
I've
is
never
purple?
seen purple this way."
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so they announced this week that there's going to be a little statue that you get, a collectible statue if you pre-order the game. It's $50, and you get a little tiny dude, beautiful looking statue, and the game. Now, my question to you guys: when do we draw the line with this collector's edition ridiculousness? Because this is pretty innocent as far as I'm concerned. We're not getting any like it could have came with the Majora's Mask that turns into a little Deku shrub, but they didn't do that because that's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, having a little Skull Kid, it's kind of cool. I think I'm often in my mind. I've never really talked about, it, never put it in words, but I'm often frustrated with collector's editions and limited editions and all these kinds of things. I think that a lot of them are just ridiculous and they're a waste of money, and I don't understand why people want this stuff. But when I see something like that for one of my favorite games of all time,
I'm looking at it. Sorry.
Yeah.
or I see something from Uncharted, or I see something from Mega Man, or something I really love, that I'd have to pay a little bit more for. Like, I have a Drake statue. I have a Joel and Ellie statue. It's like, I think I'm maybe just being judgmental about the games that I don't care about that much. At the same time, I have all these collector's edition things that I've gotten over the years that I don't want at all. So I think collector's editions are cool. I often wonder, and I think the market has shown, or at least publishers have shown, the propensity to make them because they're making money on them.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That it's a useful tool to get people to pre-order your game, and for some reason, for consumers, pre-orders matter to some consumers, and for obvious reasons, pre-orders matter to the publishers.
Yeah.
I can't think off the top of. I mean, I guess I'm looking over there at my Destiny Ghost. That was if you want to grab him, or you get him.
He's tethered.
Tim can get over
I
there.
can
Tim's
get
a
it.
limber beast.
Yeah, I'm not Nick.
This was one of the cool. This is like from the Ghost edition though. That was $1 million and yada yada yada. The times that I've seen cool collector's edition stuff that I want to keep, it's so slim. Hold on.
Place is amazing.
Thank you, Dinklebot. I'm glad you enjoy the Game Over Gruggy show set.
That excellent voice
the
acting.
kind of funny Gamecast set. That's a cool collector's edition thing. You know what I mean? But like, how many times DC Universe Online fanboy, right? But got that collector's edition, came with the Batman statue, unboxed it, put it down, and the Batman, it's that weird PVC plastic that's like not like a real statue. And we've gotten Drake statues too. You open up, it's like, and it comes with a belt buckle and it's like
The notebook and all that kind of.
yeah, and it's like this is cool stuff. Literally, as you open it and unbox it, and then I start to be like, well, what do I do with all this crap? You know what I mean? Like,
And
where
it's
does
crazy.
it go?
It's crazy to think back to like nowadays. There's a huge market for this pre-order bonus stuff, or like it's not even pre-orders at this point. It's just collector's editions. You know, and I feel like the first game to really use that term was Halo 2, maybe. like as the
Collector's
collector's edition, like and make that a huge selling
It could be.
point.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't a selling point at all when we were kids. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
There was no such thing.
pre-order
For us,
pre-order
yeah,
incentives
yeah,
back
yeah.
then. But then I think Halo 2 kind of introduced the collector's edition video game, console video game at least.
The pre-order collective that always sticks with me is when I pre-ordered Perfect Dark and I got the fanny pack that you put an N64 controller in. I was like,
Yeah,
I feel like back then there was a lot of fun random little things. Like
Stupid
Soul Calibur 2 came with like this art screen thing that was like signed by somebody. I don't know who the hell it was. It was Link.
Maximo
And it was like-
Maximo on PS2 came with heart boxers.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I mean-
did? Yeah.
I really do feel like, with rare exception, it was that generation, that PS2, GameCube, Xbox generation that began it. I mean, there were examples, but I mean, but then I think about the games I was passionate about as a kid on NES and SNES. I would have murdered for an ActRaiser special edition. Are you kidding me? Like,
See,
so it's
that's
like
the thing.
it's like so. I'm not trying to be too judgmental about it because it's just I don't want Kratos statues and I don't want.
We're giving this away
Yeah.
on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, the Hulkamania edition of WWE 2K15 with a Funko Pop and an autographed photo of Hogan and a piece of the ring he stepped in and all this stuff. It's like, that's a cool thing if you're a Hogan fan. When are you gonna get a Hogan thing and a piece of this and that? Like that, there's a lot in that box that's cool, and like that's the trade-off. Is collector's edition are always dumb until it's a game you love or a franchise you know you love.
But it's so weird that I often look at this stuff and I'm like, just buy the Funko Pop thing.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like
Yeah,
if you really want it, just get that and get the game.
Yeah.
Like I remember, to me, the best collector's edition ever was the Wind Waker, the pre-order. It wasn't collector's edition; it was just pre-order incentive, where you got the on GameCube. If you pre-ordered Wind Waker at EB Games, you got the Zelda collector's edition game that came with Ocarina, Majora's Mask.
Oh, and 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Oh, I thought I got that from Nintendo Power.
On game. Nintendo Power also had a promotion
okay.
for it later, but it first came out
I have
with Wind
that.
Waker.
That's worth a fortune.
I know. I sold it to get my PS3. I'm an idiot. But like that was awesome. You know, like that was an actual real thing that like you got something out of that. Even this is like it's plastic. It's it's like a thing, but like
But it lights up and it talks and stuff.
I guess you're right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this. I mean, what I'm talking about, it's plastic, sure, but it's like, and actually, it's actually durable. Like I could kill Nick Scarpino with this. And
Kill
that's what
Portillo
I'm
with it.
looking
Do it. Beat him with it.
for. Look at him put his head down to be safe. He knows.
But I feel like Call of Duty
Dinklebot.
started the whole we're ridiculous. Like you're gonna
Oh,
get the
yeah,
remote
man.
control cars. And
Didn't they do the
night
Jeep
vision
edition
goggles.
that came with a Jeep, like a literal Jeep or whatever?
Yeah, all that stuff, and that is when things got crazy. But I still feel like people bought into it, and people definitely bought into it.
Yeah.
The last collector's edition my friends were excited for was Halo 3, which came with the massive
helmet.
chief
Yeah,
mask
yeah.
that you couldn't wear, but like you can put on a cat.
Cat-sized.
Yeah, exactly. You ever put on a cat?
No.
Yeah, it's not actually cat sized.
This is what we all called it.
Oh, I know, but yeah, it wasn't really. We tried, but those are something that I still see everywhere. Like a lot of
Yeah.
my friends still have that in the room and actually
Sure.
like that.
Right. You can make a special edition that's cool, that has cool stuff. I thought Infamous 2, didn't they do the one with the Cole statues?
Yeah, I like that. And
was
I
a
like
good
that
one.
statue.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
The thing is that I feel like I always, at IGN I used to write a lot of stories about this special edition. The special edition was Bloodborne, I think, was one of them we wrote about, where it was. It's like, what disappoints me is that there's some of these meaty, awesome statues that you get in some of these, right? Like the Last of Us statues are like amazing. And Sony actually does a really nice job, I think, with a lot of their stuff. But it always is buttressed and supported by all this crap. Like I don't want a steelbook case.
I don't like.
I don't
hate
want
those
like
things.
I
They
don't
even
want
look
like
normal on the shelf.
yeah.
That's my problem. I love steelbooks, but only when they're with a bunch of other steelbooks. Steelbook games, I don't mess with.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
Blu-rays.
sense. And like
The
a
only
code
way to
for
work.
this and like a little notebook and all. It's like, dude, just like I don't want any of the little frills
Mm-hmm.
things. Like, give me like the cool shit. You know what I mean? Or don't give me anything at all. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like the funny thing is that gamers like us, we are all consumers. We're all heavy consumers of these products, and and the publishers know that we want these things. That people don't want to stop with the game. When you're done beating it, you want to
Yeah.
look at the statue, you want to think about the story,
The art book
you want
and
to
all
read,
that
yeah, you want to
stuff.
know more about the lore and all this kind of stuff, and I respect that. So, more power to you if you're into that. It's just not for me. My
Yeah.
girlfriend, I think I told this story a long time ago on Beyond, that I have a shit ton of video game toys, from IGN and things I bought and stuff like that. And my girlfriend's like, you can only put them on one shelf, we have to like clean these up.
Yeah.
And so I have boxes of stuff that I had to put away, and then I picked the ones that I wanted the most, like Sackboy and all these weird things, and put them on my shelf. And then I have like 6 Mega Man cartridges from like Famicom and some other stuff, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And everything else just goes in a box at this point.
Yeah.
So to me, I've hit critical mass.
And that's why we have so much stuff in the giveaway box for the Twitch stream, right? Is like we love that people think of us, but like we live in San Francisco and we don't want all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like we don't have the space for it. We just want to get it out to people who do want it. And that was always the thing when you and I did all those unboxings for IGN. Now we do them, of course, for Kind of Funny. Get them on YouTube. But like we'd tear up the box and people would flip out at us.
Yeah.
And people would send me photos of they'd bought the collector's edition, open it up, then put everything back in the box and just a wall of collector's editions. And I was like, whoa, that is like. Yeah. I guess that's one way to do it, but like...
I mean, it's just, it depends on who you are. Like,
yeah, whatever gets you.
If you collect things, you get super into that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's things I collect that I have music collections that I'm like, I need to own every single release from an artist. I want the CD, I want the vinyl, I want the... Whatever it is. I want the re-release, all that shit. I need it, you know? So I understand that, like, weird drive. And, like, how long did you guys have your console boxes when you first had them?
I still have all my console
You know what
boxes.
I mean? You keep them. Why?
Yeah.
Why do we keep those? You know, there's
yeah.
something special about that blue PS2 box.
I love that blue PS2 box.
It gives me chills thinking about it. But like that stuff, it holds a place in your heart. And I guess that to certain people, these collector's editions have that same feeling.
Yeah.
You know? So that's pretty interesting. For me, I think the biggest moment of, okay, guys, we need to stop was recently with Wolfenstein.
The giant special edition that didn't even come with the game.
That is
that was
unacceptable.
That was too much for me. Sorry, I'm trying to just keep going.
I know what you're looking for. I know exactly what you're looking for.
I have did I delete it? I must have deleted it. I had a picture. Oh no, I didn't. When I went home, I just was going through my closet and I just like...
Oh, that's amazing.
Email that to us right now.
Yeah, that's great.
But
see, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
50. The 50-minute mark. I'm on it.
Right,
Don't worry, bruh.
Oops.
Man,
48, I got it.
48 minutes.
Shit, I'm just messaging it.
Oh, 50's right. 50's right. Yeah, I started this late. But yeah, that's to me the like moment of just like, God damn it, like that is not even okay. Now, something that personally pisses me off is I do like when collector's editions are nice. Like you get different artwork or something, and I'm like, oh, that looks better. Or like a lot of games recently have been doing that thing where you can like flip the
reversible covers.
Reversible covers.
Reversible covers are hot.
Awesome.
Don't like John Cena, put on Daniel Bryan. Yeah,
exactly, that type of stuff. Super down for that. And as you guys know, I like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts a lot.
Do you?
Oh, I
You never
do.
talk
I
about
do.
those
I do.
games.
I do. And the collector's edition recently came out for the PS3 re-releases of Final Fantasy X and Kingdom Hearts, and I love them. And I bought both, and they're not the right size. They're like DVD-sized cases next to my Blu-rays. And I'm like, well, thanks a lot, Square.
Yeah,
like,
now it's not symmetric.
That shit sucks.
it's now I almost feel the need to buy the regular edition just so I can have them next to each other. Sell the actual collector's edition box.
That was the big thing again, and I bring it up all the time, but DC Universe Online, the collector's edition I bought came and it was like statue great and posters and then a cardboard sleeve for the game. And we were like, no. And like I made IGN art team make me a mock box cover that we could then put on the site, because that game was huge when it first came out.
Yeah.
For people to print off and put in a case and have their own case for DC, because I want them all lined up. I want it to look pretty.
Yeah.
But reversible covers are hot. Didn't this Resistance 3 one, wasn't it a reversible?
Yeah, no, it did.
Yeah.
That cover is a classic to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Look at Portillo. Looks like he's dead.
Yeah,
Look at him
dead
slowly. Are you
motherfucker.
talking about me? But he puts my legs are falling asleep a lot when I cross them, so I can't have him here. Colin, how would you feel if I get him a dog bed for right here at some point?
Nah, I don't like that.
So you rather make
He doesn't. It's not about Portillo.
You know what this photo looks like?
It's about the games.
This photo looks. This image, I guess. What you're seeing.
It's bothering me.
What I got?
You know,
Eye boogie.
No eyelash.
You have a thing here.
You guys are adorable.
This photo looks a lot like the photo of Jesus holding the lamb. And it's a painting, not a photo. And this is a video, not a photo. But you understand what I'm driving at.
That photo of Jesus.
It's been a long, long, long day.
You know what I'm talking about.
There's so many.
Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I just was saying
I'm gonna find that
there's
too.
so many great photos of Jesus out there.
He's got that one in the towel, and then the one with the lamb.
Okay.
53, Jesus photo I'm putting.
Jesus photo. We'll know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm going to find
Context
it.
is
Do you
there.
know what I'm talking about?
No. Of course I don't know what you're talking about.
Colin and I,
I'm
good
ignorant.
Catholic schoolboys, we know what we're talking about
Yeah.
here. I'm going to put Jesus lamb in here.
All right, so guys,
Yes.
final topic for this week. So, Marvel movies are a huge deal. DC movies, they're something, right? Video games. DC's kind of killing it. They got the Arkham games, and they're excellent. Marvel games, what's up with them? My question to you guys, how do we fix that? What developers would you give? Oh,
See?
I know that picture.
Nailed it.
I know
Nailed
the
it,
Jesus
everybody.
picture. That's a classic. And you
What developers
look
would
exactly like
I
that.
give? First off, I think you're being a bit broad with DC's. I guess
I'm
DC is
just-
killing it. No, you're right, because they got the Arkham games. I'm going to throw DC Universe Online because it's still
Sure.
going and it's good. And Injustice. So I take back what I was about to say. You're right.
But the way I see it is the Arkham games seem to be building towards eventually Justice League, eventually, you know what I mean? That type of stuff. And like that seems very feasible and seems logical, specifically with the movies going that direction too. Now, with Marvel movies, we're at the Ant-Man at this point.
The Ant-Man.
And it's like, okay, guys, wow, we are getting an Ant-Man movie. Holy crap. Like, that's insane. So, the movies are doing super well and everyone loves them, but we don't have any good Marvel games. There's been a couple in the history.
Yeah.
A couple generations back specifically. But how can they take the Marvel Cinematic Universe and make a Marvel game universe where the games kind of connect and it becomes a franchise?
Yeah.
I say similar to Arkham, and I know that Arkham is just Batman right now, but we can envision that, right?
Yeah,
envision the world of Marvel as a video game franchise.
Sure.
What developers, what publishers, what systems, what do we want for this?
I mean, you figure this is something that's fascinating because Marvel had a contract forever with Activision, and that's where all these games were coming from. And God bless Activision.
It's a blank slate now, though.
I'm not taking shots at Activision, but they were very much, and Ghostbusters is always the example, right? They didn't pick up the Ghostbusters franchise when it came out because they said specifically, we want annualizable content. And that's what they did with Marvel, much to the chagrin of everyone, right? Wolverine movie, here's a Wolverine game. And granted, Raven's engine was awesome, and what was happening was great, but the story sucked and the level design wasn't great and all these different things. It was the action, it felt like Wolverine, right? He's tearing people apart. And then the Spider-Man games. Give it to Beanox, they make Shattered Dimensions, and it's super good. It's really, really good. And then it's like, do it again, do it again, do it again. And the quality's nosedive, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't keep up with that kind of demand. So now that all of those have been pulled, it seems, because Activision had to be like, hey, we're taking everything off of online. If you want it now, get it now. You figure Disney hopefully understands. It's not even, it's not, to me, about what developers do you give. I'll give you prediction, or people I'd want to see pick stuff up. But it's more about giving people time. You know what I mean? The reason Arkham works is because they said after Batman Begins, we can't have another bad Batman game. Like, we cannot do this. You know what I mean? And they said, Rocksteady, take your time, make a game. And they didn't tie it into the movies. They tied it into the animated series, kind of. And it was like, run with it. And it's look at it. Like, you have 4 games that have been juggernauts. That are like, Batman's a thing now in video games. And that's what it comes down to. Spider-Man could easily be that. Give it to anyone who's got an open world pedigree. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing I was talking about with superhero games is give it to them, and then every 3 months release a pack of random crime to go stop, and then put a new villain out or something. You know what I mean? Like something simple, and it can be an hour of content in terms of like this little storyline to get to the guy to fight him or whatever.
Like Aunt May pharmacy runs.
Exactly. Yeah. You totally understand.
Exactly.
She needs that Vagisil.
Damn. Aunt May.
Aunt May getting some. That's what I like to see.
Aunt May.
But yeah, that's the drive, is giving people time with these characters. When you rush them, you get a rush product that isn't good.
Yeah, I think that I agree with Greg in the sense that, I mean, I will go as far as to say I think it's a little overstatement that DC has these like a slate of great games. I mean, they have a great series and a fighting game that some people like and an MMO.
Oh yeah, it's true.
You know, like it's
I
like
didn't even think about that.
and that's basically it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so it's not like they're hitting on all cylinders. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do. The thing is that I agree that the Marvel marriage with Activision was an unholy alliance that did not work out well for Marvel and worked out very well for Activision, I think, because Activision wants to, Activision does make good games. They make great games. And
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance actually is actually a good example.
Number 1 was great.
Yeah.
Civil War was a great idea that kind of got off the tracks, but then before that, X-Men Legends were great.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But I think that
Marvel Heroes has its moments.
I think that it's a matter of focus, and I think it's a matter of, again, like Greg was alluding to, finding the right developers for the right products. And I think I personally think the Wolverine game that Raven did was awesome, and I really liked that game a lot. And I think Raven's, I said many times, one of the underrated studios. I feel so bad for those guys because it's like they're just on fucking Call of Duty forever now. Like I beat Advanced Warfare and I was reading the credits. First of all, how many fucking people work on this game? Like, it's like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
It's a 5-hour campaign. You know?
Yeah.
How many people are working on this game? It's totally absurd. And then there's Raven. Everyone from Raven on there. I'm like, oh, good. That's great. That's a great use of that talent. But not that I play Call of Duty every year. I'm not hating on Call of Duty. I just don't understand why it takes fucking 1,000 people to make one.
Sure.
And I mean that straight up. I have no idea how that's possible. But, I think that marrying themselves to EA as Marvel has, or Disney has already done with Star Wars, is probably a safe way to go because EA seems to want to take care with Battlefront and some of the Star Wars properties that they're working on, and it seems like that might be a logical place where they're going to end up. But one of the things that came to my mind was, what about the first parties? It would be interesting for someone like Sony or Microsoft to go to Marvel, to go to Disney and be like, we'll make your game. You know, we'll get one of our first parties studios on it. Some of the best studios in the world. Yeah. It'll just have to be an exclusive. Yeah. You know. So when you talk about Spider-Man, well, it's like, what if Sucker Punch is a Spider-Man game?
Right.
You know, and if you talk about, you know, an X-Men game or like some sort of, you know, gritty first-person game or whatever, what if Guerrilla did that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's like those studios can handle themselves, you know, handle the art assets. And so I think, you know, handle the direction of the games, and they have these pedigrees. I mean, the beauty of a family like Sony or even Microsoft or even Nintendo is that, as opposed to Activision's family of studios, is that they actually do have specialties. They have their racing studio, they have their family studio, they have their open world studio, their third-person narrative studio. You know, like, so it's like, what are you looking for, Marvel? You know?
I can't remember. Is High Moon Studios owned? It is owned by
Activision.
God damn it! Because I was always going to say they're another great example, right? Of, hey, we made this Bourne game and there's a lot of promise to it. It wasn't fully fleshed out, but there's promise to it. Here's this Transformers game everybody loved. Do it again. You know what I mean? Like, give them time. Let them make a third-person action
the thing with them is they did it again with Transformers. Like, the second one, from what I hear, is better than the first one.
Oh, really?
The third one's
that's the one where I fell through.
That's when they like just kept like forcing it through. Because I think there was 2 years between the first and second.
I didn't mean to.
But then it was like a movie tie-in, whatever.
So do it again. Do it again. There you go.
Exactly.
Activision and Ubi make no, you know, Activision and I think Ubi make no bones about what they're trying to do. I mean, they're businesses and they want to make money. And we've talked about Ubisoft saying openly, they're like, we make Assassin's Creed every year because you buy Assassin's Creed every year. I mean, I thought that was a really great, candid answer. But that's not what people want to hear, maybe, but it's like, our books tell us that you want it. So here it is, and then Activision's doing the same thing.
I mean, for Ubisoft, to partner them with somebody, we were talking about it earlier today on the Twitch stream, give them a Daredevil game. Matt Murdock on rooftops having to use sonar to see what's happening, go out and fight crime. That'd be awesome. Because you have the same thing of doing the like dives. You know what I mean? I'm taking Assassin's Creed engine, taking some of the Watch Dogs stuff, merging it together, putting it into one game.
I feel like I would love Ubisoft to do Marvel games 2 years ago. Like, I feel like that would be a good time period. Because they were doing a lot of stuff then that was like super fun, third-person, action-y. And they could just nail it. I also think the Platinum Games, like a Spider-Man Platinum Games game, could be pretty fun.
But again, it comes down to time, right? You look at Legend of Korra. Like Platinum Games did Legend of Korra, and don't get me wrong, not one miss doesn't make you. They put out Revengeances, and that's, you know, people loved what that was.
Vanquish.
Vanquish.
One of the great games on PS2.
Bayonetta
One of the very great games.
Yeah. Bayonetta in general.
Yeah, they make Platinum's just an interesting studio because they make games that don't really sell.
Yeah.
But they're really good with
But see, that's the thing.
Exception.
Like, what if you took that gameplay and put something like Marvel behind it? Like, would that sell?
Right.
Like, take Bayonetta and put Spider-Man in it.
See, now I'm going the opposite way because I think that Bayonetta and how crazy Platinum is would work way better with Deadpool.
Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean? That much
I
color,
don't
that
know
much
Deadpool
pop.
would sell though.
I mean, they already did it once, and everybody got super excited about it, and then it came out, and it was like,
There's all these problems.
Yeah, exactly. To get the fucking end of that game, controller through the window. You know what I mean? Like, there was issues about that, but like Deadpool is about to get his own movie with Ryan Reynolds again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's another one of those. The fans are demanding it and demanding it and demanding it. If it doesn't perform at the movie theaters, then shut up about Deadpool, everybody. But
I think that, you know, it's much the way I feel about Marvel's movie slate. Take a step back, figure out like what you want to do well, and do that well. You know, and so with the games, it's identify the publisher that owns the studios that you need to work with, or you know, find independent studios like Insomniac, for instance, that don't necessarily deal with any publisher, and then, you know, publish through your own publishing house or whatever. But I think the best bet for them is to just make another alliance with another publisher that can handle their wares, much like they've done with EA with Star Wars. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if EA is going to be taking over their games as well. You know, EA can scale up. EA can scale up and make 2 new studios just to do that, and they're making plenty of money. So it's just a matter of if that's in the cards or not, you know. But that seems to be the most logical.
Yeah, I feel like similar to the movies. If they were to come out with an Iron Man game to start it off, as just like, here's this super awesome game, the Arkham of Iron Man. Yeah, I think that would be huge. That could start this whole boulder rolling of just like, here's a series of great games that are about to come. Yeah,
but it's not, you know, to Greg's point, I agree with it. It could be anything. That's the thing, is it could be anything. I mean, Batman's obviously a big name, and that was Arkham Asylum was a game that came out in 2009 and was beloved by a lot of people, but it wasn't because it was a Batman game necessarily. It's because it was fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, people were like, there's never been a good Batman game. Well, that's bullshit. The best Batman game is still Batman by Sunsoft.
I was going to say, that's what
that game is fucking impeccable.
Yeah.
And you know, there's you have to have a good game first. And then you build the IP and the universe around it.
But I mean that's true. I agree with you, right? But it's one of those things that Vanquish is a great game, and it didn't, didn't set the world on fire. It's so hard to launch a new IP.
Vanquish should have been G.I. Joe.
Oh,
I've said that a million times.
Slide in there?
Vanquish should have been a G.I.
Get
Joe.
Channing
I mean,
Tatum
Vanquish
in
should have
there
been a
doing
G.I.
some
Joe.
I feel like
voice work?
Vanquish Iron Man add a little more like fun and stuff.
Yeah, Vanquish was like one of the stars of PS3 and Xbox 360. That game was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I remember I played that game at E3. Like when it was first being demoed, and that was like one of the few games I had no idea what it was, and I played it. I'm like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah,
that's exactly what that game is. It's cool,
Yes.
but at the core of it is like a solid cover-based third-person shooter. And once you have that down, once you're running around on a white fucking mat, with nothing on it, then you build a little bit more and build a little bit more. You don't deal with the lore first and then squeeze something into it.
That's why
I really don't think that's how they began Arkham Asylum. Like I think
I totally agree with you. I love the idea that there's developers out there making engines and gameplay and then trying to sell that to people. And they're like, I love this for character X, Batman, and we'll give you Paul Dini to come write the story and do this and like help you. You know what I mean? Like that's a fucking perfect marriage. Or for somebody to say, I've seen what you did before in these tech demos. We're looking for a Batman game. Can you make it? And I can't remember. There's a recent game that did really well that's the story, that they went up to somebody with like this engine. They're like, well, what if you did it for this? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, totally. I don't remember the story though, so that's...
You see games that happen though that are clearly supposed to be something else that didn't know. I always talk about Blood Rain Betrayal, which was so fucking obviously going to be a Castlevania game.
Yeah.
And like that they try and it fails, whatever. Or with Raven, we were talking about Raven before when they made Singularity, where they were making it in secret basically. And, they were like, and it was so far along, I think that Activision was like, well, let's get it out. Let's do it.
We'll go back to Dinosaur Planet.
Which
Star Fox Adventures, and just like, okay, this is not Star Fox. That's very, very, very weird. Before we wrap this out real quick, let's go back to Shattered Dimensions. So I missed out on the PS3 gen of Spider-Man games.
I like that game.
I loved Spider-Man, the movie. 1 was fun on PS2. 2
Spider-Man 2 was
like, oh man, we're flying around.
Not
and
a
stuff.
great game, but it was, you got to swing around the city,
was
do
fun,
random
and that's
stuff.
all
You're
that
like,
mattered.
and nobody can nail it again.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Have people nail it since? Because I remember I played a demo of Shattered Dimensions. The trailers got me super hyped.
Yeah.
The multiple Spider-Mans, I was like, yeah, Spider-Man's my favorite of all the comic book characters. But then I was like, this doesn't look that good. I remember the reviews. I think you reviewed it.
Yeah, I probably gave it an 8 something. I imagine.
Yeah.
Low 8s,
Which,
probably, mid 8s.
I was like, all right, that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah. Well, the 8 point whatever doesn't ring true to you.
Mm-hmm.
That it's whatever. No, I mean it was back to the fact that it's not what you want. We've all want did you play Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yes.
Like, see, that was like enough of a shift where it's like it's kind of what you loved from Spider-Man 2, but it's also this narrative and a little bit linear. Like, okay, and it was like good, but nobody talks about that. They talk about Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And Shattered Dimensions was the opposite of like linear story. This is what you're doing. Go do this. And then when they put out Edge of Time, which wasn't good. That was, again, here's the story, do this. And then they finally like, you want an open world? Here's Spider-Man. You were tying it into Amazing Spider-Man 2. And yeah, right? Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man. No, I thought they've done a second one for sure.
There's 2. Yeah, there's 2 Amazing Spider-Man games. There was also Web of Shadows at some point.
Oh, but that was before
with
all
Wolverine?
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I know a lot of people who did.
Oh, really?
Javi Rodriguez swears by it, who's a big fan, but like I did not. I reviewed it and tore it apart. Yeah. But like that was the thing. Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man was like, we're Beanox, here's the open world, and it looks bad. Like it doesn't look good, and it's like it seemed like a downgrade from Amazing Spider-Man, which it was enjoyable, but again empty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, you can just see it. It's like you're on the timeline for the movie. They're still finalizing character designs and how the movie's gonna play out, so you can only do this, that, and the other. So, and it's just like, you know what I mean? They don't work together, and then you get these watered down products. Beanox is a talented studio. Beanox understands Spider-Man. They just need time. If Disney's looking, and I don't think they're exclusive to Activision, pick them up, let them do Spider-Man, but give them. You have all the time in the world now because there's not a Spider-Man movie anytime soon. So just go. You know what I mean? Make a cool Spider-Man game.
We gotta do some Let's Plays of Vanquish and Shattered Dimensions.
Absolutely, dude. I'll play Vanquish any fucking day, dude. You wake me up at 3 a.m. on a Thursday.
Stop playing that. Do that, please. Tomorrow, kick it in 3 a.m.
Well, guys, thank you so much. You once again are the coolest video game dudes there are. And thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 2 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. This show comes out every Friday on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that stuff. Broken out Monday through Thursday on the YouTube. You know the whole rigmarole of that. Make sure you support us on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames.
You get it early.
You get it early. You get it the week before everyone else. All these other fools. You're not fools.
No! If you're watching this on YouTube,
No!
don't unsubscribe.
We love you all, even if you are slightly stupid.
Damn! You go the opposite
I'm
way.
really stupid.
I'm always like, hey, no, it's cool if you don't have the money, and you're
Hey,
like,
You're doubling
You guys
down.
know what? This one's worth $1. So there you go. Until next week. Goodbye. I didn't have anything there. I was, oh yeah, I like that. I wanted to say something, but goodbye was all I had.
It's good enough.
Yeah, there you go.
People understand.